Hey, all you lifers out there, welcome to the Lifers Podcast, where we are serving a life sentence in sports. Here are your trustees today. Yo, Kev, what's up?
What's up? What's up? Let's get it on.
We got your
Let's get
trustees.
it on.
Jay.
What's going on, boys? Life is out there. How you doing?
Papa Josh, what's up, brother?
What's up? What's up, my peoples?
We
Another
got
day.
a lifer right here, Xavier.
How y'all doing today? I'm excited. Time to mock it up.
There you go, man. A few words. My name is Mike. Let's go ahead and get this started. TJ, what we got cooked up for this evening, brother?
Today we're gonna go through our mock draft. We're just gonna go through the top 10 because we're gonna delve deep into all these prospects and team needs and things like that. We're gonna give you what we think is gonna happen. Then we're gonna let the other lifers, kind of give their 2 cents on the pick, and then each person who's gonna get a pick is also gonna do let everybody know what they think the team should do.
AKA shit on that pick.
AKA shit on exactly.
And then the lifer will also throw out another pick what they think the team should do. Not necessarily what they think they're going to do, but what they feel they should do personally.
Gotcha. That's what's up. Okay, so
let's get this shit
we
started.
randomly selected the teams and the picks, correct? So
no,
this
I'm
is
no.
no
I want to let you
favoritism.
know. We went from oldest to youngest. That's what we did.
Touche.
I ain't trying to get in trouble for my Dolphins pick.
It's all right. It's all right.
All right, that's what's up. We over here taking a little shotty.
So that means I go first.
Yes.
TJ's up.
So the drum roll starts with
Bengals.
the first pick.
With the
in
first pick.
2020 NFL mock draft. The Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, the Tiger
What
King.
the?
I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
Go ahead, TJ. Tell us why.
Well, I think for multiple reasons. Number one, I think he's the safest QB prospect in the draft this year. I feel that they need a quarterback, big time. He's an Ohio kid. He's from Southern Ohio, so he'll draw the fans that way. He went to Ohio State, didn't play, but he was there. He was recruited by them. He was Mr. Ohio. So I just think it's the right pick for the Bengals for publicity-wise, business-wise, and he's the best prospect. He had a great season, arguably the best quarterback season in college football history.
Mhm.
So I think that's what the Bengals are going to do. I think there is a 99.9% chance that's what they do. I think everybody in the NFL knows it too.
Yep.
Real quick though, you don't think just a 1 year, you don't think they're afraid by any chance? You don't think they make any surprise and just go another route? Even though Burrow, like I said, he is overall number one, obviously, but pretty much all we have is just 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're like the manager or something, like, I mean, does that kind of scare you away or no?
I don't think it should.
You should-
I
okay.
think his production was elite. He has elite traits as far as, his accuracy, his pocket presence is immaculate. He has great vision. And a lot of what I've listened to Daniel Jeremiah and a bunch of other former NFL scouts and media members, and they talked about one of the main reasons why there was such an adjustment was in his first year at LSU, they had a lot of max protects and only two people going out in a route. And that's not where he excels. He excels as being a distributor. So when they brought Joe Brady in, who was was the quarterback coach for the for the Saints, they brought him in as the passing game coordinator, and they opened everything up with 5-man protections, and they put everybody out in the route and allowed him to distribute and pick people apart. That's when his game went to the next level. So I think as long as Cincinnati can fortify their offensive line, he's the right pick. I think they have the skill position players that nobody's talking about. They have a pretty good foundation. You got A.J. Green. You've got John Ross, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. You've got a pretty good foundation there, a skill position player. Jonah Williams was hurt last year. They get him back. I think they're going to be better than people think offensively. Defensively, They've got a ways to go.
Xavier, what you got? What you saying about that?
Quick question, TJ, for you. Let's say the Dolphins trade 2 firsts and 2 seconds. As a GM, would you make that move?
Now Now that's what we're going to get into. What I think they should do.
Okay.
All right.
Heard.
I think if I were the GM of the Cincinnati Bengals, I would be listening to offers. And if the Dolphins are, and if I were, and if I would, I'd ask for all three. I ask for 3 picks and a second, all your first round picks and a second rounder. If you're willing to give that to me, I'm taking it.
That's a
That's what I
king's
think.
ransom. That's a king's ransom. So why not? And
You're
that's what you
getting
gotta go
you're
for.
getting the
That's
top
what you gotta go
prospect.
for. No, legit.
So
That's
that
what
would be
you
that.
go
Go ahead.
If I was a GM, that's what I would do.
I agree. I agree.
Josh, what you got to say on that?
I concur. I agree with everything he's saying. Honestly,
Okay.
I think they're going to go with Burrows. I think the only way that they don't is if someone gives them a king's ransom for that pick.
Yeah.
That's I just don't see any other way about it. I mean, the kid has just had a remarkable. You mentioned the 1 year. I mean,
Yeah.
in 1 year, has anybody ever produced as well as this kid has shown?
Those elite
In
numbers.
the,
No.
you know, I mean, and that's in the history. Think about it, in the history of this game and what's
Yeah.
been done in this game. No one's ever been able to do anything like this kid. How is that possible? Why and how do you not invest in somebody like that? You gotta, you know. So, yeah, I agree.
Kev?
Yeah, man. Simply said, you draft with the number 1 pick. You draft talent, resume, marketability, potential, and Joe Burrow covers every single one of those. So it's kind of a no-brainer. In terms of King's Ransom, I agree with you about that. But when we get to the Miami pick, I'll have a little bit more on that. I don't want to give that away just yet.
Mhm.
All right.
So TJ, so that was your pick. So what do you think they should do? Did
I
the
think
same
they
or-
should
Trade.
I think they should trade out. If the
They should
Dolphins
trade.
are willing to offer them
Gotcha.
3 first-round picks and
Take it.
a second, I would take that deal all day. I'd
So-
run Andy Dalton. I'd keep Andy Dalton as my quarterback, and I'd draft 3 great prospects to fortify my team.
Give him some protection, maybe.
There you go.
Um.
Next up,
So,
what
so
you got,
wait,
Josh?
So
Go
sorry, I'm
ahead.
sorry. Malat, so are you saying that they should actively maybe try to sell that, like trade that draft, or do you think they should just be listening for it? Like, do you think
I
they
would-
should actually take Burrows, or do you think they should actually take the chance on building up that stock?
Rumor on the street is the Dolphins are willing to give up a king's ransom to go get Burrow. That's what
Okay.
I've heard
Okay.
from reading and
Adam Schefter.
following
Yeah,
Twitter
yeah,
and things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So
Shefty Chef.
the option is on the table. If that option is there and the value is worth it, then I would probably make the trade.
I like it.
But if the value isn't there for me, I'm gonna take Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's no heard.
All right,
All right.
Joshua, pick number 2.
Washington
Yes.
Redskins.
For the Washington Redskins, we select this young man from Alabama.
Foreshadowing.
I'm just kidding. From Ohio State, Chase Young. I think to make it very compact, I think this is what they're gonna do, and I think honestly this is what they should do. The kid is just a monster. If Joe Burrows is the number 1 offensive prospect in the draft, I think Chase Young is the number 1 defensive, especially in that front in that D-end edge rusher position. The kid had 16.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 32 tackles, 14 assists. Like, the kid is just numbers wise monster in comparison to just I think Bosa had in his best year, because in the year that he played with Chase in 2018, the last year that he played with him, he only had like 4.5 maybe sacks. The year before he had 8.5. So I mean, what this kid's gonna do with Montez Sweat, who's another young player, I think you saw what Bosa did for my Niners, and I think you just see what this kid does with his size, with his versatility. There's no way he doesn't make a mark on your defense. And I think to pair again with a kid like Montez Sweat with Ryan Kerrigan, I think Ryan Kerrigan had 7 sacks last year. I mean, they're gonna put pressure, and I think that'll help their defense immensely. At least get the ball back to the offense's hands. You got 2 young QBs you take a chance with, and kind of see what you have. Plus, he's from Hyattsville, from Maryland, not too far away. And same as like Joe Burrows with Cincinnati. I think you got a hometown kid in Chase Young as well.
I don't know. I can't argue with that pick at all. I think it's the right pick.
Yeah.
I think it's what they're gonna do. It's what I would do. It gives Ron Rivera the second coming of Julius Peppers.
Yes,
That's what I
again
see.
for him. Yep.
So that front 7 is going to be monstrous, and in that division, you got to get after the quarterback. So I think they'll be well on their way to building something something nice in Washington, especially to start with that front seven that you can rotate. They got the kid Allen from Alabama a couple of years ago. That front four is going to be a force to reckon with. They can get the secondary ironed out in the next couple of years.
I like it, Kev. What you got?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Joshua, I have a question. Considering the dating that you get, the non-marriage that Rivera has with Haskins, and the fact that he just got this job, and when a coach just gets his job, the best thing he wants is more draft capital to build the team that he wants.
Yeah.
What do you say? Not that I think he's going to go quarterback, but what do you think the possibility, if you had to say, give me a percentage, do you think that they'll draft Chase Young versus trade for more picks?
I think it would have to take a lot of what they would believe would be a king's ransom on their end to get a kid like Chase Young, because Chase Young is going to be a Pro Bowler automatic. Like, the kid is just, he's like perennial all-star in the making. Like, yeah. So I think what you see in Joe Burrows offensively, I think defensively you're going to get from Chase Young, and he's going to make a mark on your team. So I feel for them, they'd rather take the chance on these two young QBs with a surefire DE than anything else that's second grade compared to what they already know they're going to have, So I don't know. That's a good question, but I think they're gonna keep their pick.
So what percent? 80%?
I would say 90. I would say 90. 90% they keep, unless they're given the kitchen sink everything, just a shit ton of picks. Then of course. I mean, how do you say no to that? But I think it'd take a lot for them to give away that pick.
It's also all about what, not only the value, but how far you got to move down the board, and what players are going to be there when you pick. If Chase Young is, rated, let's say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and he's a 9.5, and you're going to get some picks, but you're going to drop down and get a 7 or an 8. Like, at that point, is it really worth it?
This kid had 16.5 sacks, right? Which is it's retarded when it comes to just how many sacks he had. And he missed 2 games on top of that season. And he's able to produce that much. Like, that's more than double. That's basically close to double of what Nick Bosa ever had in his best year at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And his best, like, that's just, it's stupid. Like, how do you not take this kid?
I like it. Okay. So now, with the next pick.
Now the draft starts, right?
2020 draft. Pick number 3, the Lions. X, you up.
So the Detroit Lions will pick Isaiah Simmons, and I'll tell you why. Chase Young gets off the board. They need corners, but it is like a second and third round corner-heavy draft this year. There's a lot of athletes at the cornerback position. So I think they're going to get the next special available talent for that defensive unit. That's just me, in my opinion. I think they're going to shock the world. And that's their logical pick right now, is get the next best defensive player. And then we'll go with the other stuff.
We got many faces here that want to shit on you. TJ, go ahead.
I don't mind the pick. I can't say that I'm going to shit on it, because he is a matched up nightmare. He can do everything. He can rush the passer. He can cover the slot. He can play deep safety. He can play linebacker. And that's a New England Patriot type player.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia
and Bob Quinn out there. They're from the Patriot tree.
Yeah.
But Jeff Okudah to go with Marcus Trufant, who you guys just signed from after he got released from Atlanta in Detroit. That'd be a nice pairing. Nice pairing. But I don't mind. I don't mind the Isaiah Simmons pick. It's a little bit high for a linebacker / safety. Yeah. That'd be my only quabble.
Yeah.
Squabble. That'd be my only thing. But it's different. It's a chance.
Kevin, what you got to say?
I honestly, Savi, I truly believe actually he's BPA. I understand the corner position, but I think the Lions, if they draft a corner, will be drafting for a high need Whereas I think Isaiah Simmons is special. Where let's not act like he can't cover. Let's not act like he can't play linebacker. He can't line up. He can do it all. So you're talking about he's not like a stretch by any imagination. He's actually a very low risk, high reward kind of guy. Where you're gonna go, look, I can line him up in 3 different positions, have 3 different chances to be successful, and he has a chance to blow up and be a Cam Chancellor on steroid type of player. So
modern day linebacker / safety.
Love it.
So I mean,
Love it.
I'm just afraid the Lions aren't going to know how to use him. I don't trust Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that what you think? That's what you think they will do, or what they should do?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think?
So what I think they should do, this is where it gets interesting. It's trade city now, because if no one bites on that first pick or that second pick, you got the Chargers, you got the Finns, obviously, who everyone thinks, hey, we're scared. Maybe we need to grab Tua. Maybe the Lions possibly want to grab Tua in the sense of molding like an Aaron Rodgers, like some of these other quarterbacks that have sat, like Patty Mahomes for a year or two. So in my scenario, I know they would want maybe to listen. This is where they're really listening for offers, but we're not doing trades from what I understand, right? Or
nope.
Correct.
No
trades.
So I say BPA. If you guys, I'm sure most of you have done your homework. This truly might be one of the deepest cornerback classes in the last few years.
Corner and WR.
Talent.
You think so? I would argue that a little bit. I think there's a large drop off after C.J. Henderson out of Florida.
Okay,
so corner.
For corner.
At corner.
Okay.
You've got.
I think they can find.
You've got Jeff Gladney, who's out of TCU, who's supposed to be pretty good. AJ Terrell out of Clemson. Trevon Diggs.
Antoine Winfield Jr.
He's more of a safety though. He's more of a safety.
Christian Fulton, Jeff Gladney. It's a pretty. They got 8 in the top 30, so it's actually it is a pretty deep class at corner.
But there's a drop off though after the top 2.
I think they can get away though, since they're so high up in the 3rd pick. They might get lucky and get one of those, that 4th, 5th, 6th corner guy that comes off the board. I think they can tag that.
I would be pleasantly surprised if the Detroit Lions were that smart to pick Isaiah Simmons. I think he's a chess piece.
You think he's just going to box?
I applaud you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Because I think he's a chess piece.
He's your steal, Isaiah?
Yeah, I think whoever gets him is going to get a gem. I'm a huge fan. And awesome. What we got next?
All right. Well, yours truly has number 4, the Giants.
Woo!
All right. Well, this is my thing here, right? Obviously, they didn't force Eli out, but they're trusting Danny Jones, giving him the keys to the franchise, and having him and Saquon. You gotta block for them. So I mean, this is kind of like a no-brainer. You have some big mammoths, offensive linemen this year. Tristan Wirfs like 6'5", 320. You have Mike Becton is like a 6'7", and they're athletes, dude. Like Tristan Wirfs actually ran 4.8. Like these fuckers are beasts. So I'm thinking right now, going safe. The pick that's gonna happen, I'm thinking Tristan Wirfs from Iowa. I'm gonna go that route.
Why would you do Wirfs over Becton? What's your rationale between that?
Why would you do Wirfs? I'll add on top of that. Why would you do Wirfs over any of the other tackles?
Yeah,
I know, Jerry. Well, honestly, I would say any of the 3. You can, but honestly, right now I'm kind of just looking at game film. I've been to a couple games. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, it's a toss-up, to be honest. Because you have a couple teams, like, you have the Giants and you have the Jaguars, it might pick a little later. And they're both kind of in the same situation, having to block for their running back and quarterback. But, so honestly, to answer that question.
You're just saying whatever they have
I'm
on
just
top of their
choosing.
draft.
I'm choosing, right now, I'm choosing the best tackle. And in my eyes, but Giants can easily, I'm thinking they're going to pick a tackle regardless. Not, Tristan Wirfs or not. I'm just choosing them to kind of plug them in right now. But it's kind of cool because what I think they should do, losing Odell and shit like that, go for like a Jerry Jeudy or something like that, that's me. But, Em, I got anything to say about that?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Just
go
a
ahead.
question. If Isaiah Simmons was still on the board, would you still take the tackle?
That's honestly in my thing. I had it written down that Okudah was going 3. I was gonna go Simmons at 4, to be honest. 100%. I had it written down.
Okay.
But the fact that he was choosing there, and the fact that I don't see the Giants going with a corner right now, that's why I went with an offensive tackle at the moment. But you're right. That's exactly what I had written down in my pencil. That I would have Isaiah Simmons at number 4. But Joshua, Kevin, anybody want to say anything?
I think X had wanted to say something.
Yeah.
X, go ahead.
Well, I got a little gem here. When you think Iowa football, what do you guys? Anybody, just quickly, what do you guys think of?
Big ass O line.
Offensive lineman.
All right, so let me give you this nugget. Since their coach, Mr. Kirk Ferentz, has been there, Wirth is literally the only true freshman offensive tackle to have ever played in Iowa as a starter for that team.
Because they say that Bill Polian was on. He does a show on Sirius XM radio with Alex Marvez. And he talked about offensive linemen, and he had a whole 15-minute interview with Bill Polian about offensive linemen and the tackles in this draft. And he said, when you go to Iowa, you work up to Kirk Ferentz and you say, Kirk, is he the right size? Is he 6'5"? Is he 320? And Kirk will tell you yes or no. And if he tells you yes, you're good. You can go home. You don't even need to do anything else. So Tristan Wirfs is a real deal. If he's a starting tackle I don't know about left, but he's definitely going to be a starting right tackle, and at worst, he'll be an all-pro guard. So
love it.
The Giants need offensive line help. Period.
That's true.
True.
But TJ, who would you pick though? Out of the other, or just out of like Becton, Wirfs, Will, who would you pick? Just quick, like if you had to, real quick.
If I had to right now, I think the best tackle is Jedrick Wills out of Alabama.
Okay.
The issue is he plays right tackle. And I'm not about the whole people talk about he can just flip to the left side. I'm not all about that. If you played right tackle your whole damn college career, you're a right tackle. Keep him there. If I was going left tackle, I'd go Jedrick Wills or Andrew Thomas. Probably Mekhi Becton or Andrew Thomas. That high, I'm going to shoot for the stars, and I'm going to go Mekhi Becton because I think he's a dancing bear. He's a mauler in the run game, and he's huge.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Like arm reach, from what I understand.
Beast. All right. Home fan favorite, Kevin landed the Dolphins.
Oh,
At
man.
number 5.
Look at you.
Jared, no, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do it. No, man, this has been such a hot topic in terms of what's going to happen. Dolphins have the 14 picks. They have so much capital. Are they going to go quarterback? Are they not? Are they going to trade up? All those things. And with that being said, my pick for the number 5 is going to be Tua Tagovailoa.
Woof.
And this is why. The guy, Miami, when it comes to a top 5 draft pick, you have to draft based on resume, talent, marketability, production, and potential. He marks all that off. No one can question that. And people always talk about the injury history and how is he durable or not? This is what people don't understand. He's had 5 significant injuries that people say. Out of those 5 injuries, he's only missed 3.5 games in his entire college career. The funny thing is, people talk about how Dolphins think about Herbert. Herbert broke his collarbone in 2017 and missed 5 games. So people talk about how Tua is injury prone, but yet Herbert has yet missed more games than Tua has. So that's understanding. People go, okay, what about the hit? What about the hit? Well, he's cleared. He's 100%. If he was to go back to Alabama, he would have played this year too, so he wouldn't have missed any games. So. Yeah. You take away the injury history, which I think is overblown, and the fact that Miami has Fitzpatrick and is given every excuse in the book to sit him down for an entire year, give him more time to heal up, get injured, rehab, learn the playbook, do whatever. I think it's a no-brainer for him to go to Miami.
Thanks. You guys want to say about that, fellow Finn fan?
No, I mean we'll go to the next section for that because I think they will go get Tua if he's still there. Now I have something that I want them to do that's completely different, but.
I understand, and so now that's what I think will happen. And what I think will happen is I think in order to get Tua, they'll have to trade up because let's say the Los Angeles Chargers will give I'll trade you my 6th and my 2nd round. Then the Dolphins are going to be like, all right, I'll trade you my 5th and my 2nd round. So just to move up. and get the opportunity to do it. So I think the pick they'll make is Tua. I don't know when they'll do it. Now, the question I think some of you guys will have for me is how much are you willing to trade? And my answer to that is I'm not giving Kings ransom. I'm really not, and this is why. From the last 10 years, all the quarterbacks were picked in the top 10. There's only 4 that have been franchise quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, who's just a rookie, he's only been there for 1 year. Wentz, who's torn ACL. Andrew Luck, who retired early, and Cam Newton, who just got released by the team that he was a franchise for. So no matter what you do in your top 10 pick, it's a risk regardless. You might as well pick the guy who has shown you the most production, the most resume, the most talent, but don't give up ransom because it's shown in history that doesn't pay off. It's better to have depth and draft picks and make the most out of that.
Well,
Kevin, real quick, I'm sorry. Real quick, Kevin, if Tua was healthy, he'd be number 1 over Joe or no?
So that's that's an interesting conversation. I don't think so because of the team that's picking in Cincinnati. But I do think in terms of talent, yes, because Tua is 2 years younger than Joe Burrow, and has arguably had a better career than Joe Burrow. Now I will say Joe Burrow is amazing in every aspect of the conversation. There's actually a stat that I looked up. It's called RAW, which is the total raw QB rating, and of all time college football history. Kyler Murray, number 1. Russell Wilson, number 3. Tua, number 4 with this year. Andrew Luck with number 5. Burrow at number 6. And Tua at number 8 last year. So Tua's had 2 of the top 8 all-time seasons in college football, and Joe Burrow had 1. So if it wasn't Cincinnati, I think any other team would be Tua.
Let me ask you this question: What do you say to the Tua critics who say that he played behind arguably one of the best offensive lines in college football, as well as probably a top 5, probably top 3 in college football last year, receiving core and skill position players?
What do I say to that?
Yep.
My
that he's not as good. He's a product of the talent around him in Alabama.
I'll say I got a couple things. The first thing is he went 20-2, so he only lost 2 games. So he made the best out of the talent that he had. That's number 1. Number 2, the 2 games that he lost were historic teams. You're talking Clemson and actually Joe Burrow's led Clemson, and then who was the other team?
LSU.
Oh man, LSU. LSU and Clemson. I'm sorry, LSU and Clemson.
Yeah.
And my second thing that I would say, I guess third, is it shows that he's a leader of men who are NFL quality, worth of talent. So when you're surrounded by a program like that and you're able to lead as a QB, when you go to the NFL, you're going to be surrounded around those same type of people. That's one thing that Alabama does really well in terms of being almost, damn near a NFL program. If he's a leader amongst men, then that's going to translate. Unlike somebody like Herbert, who isn't known for leadership at all.
Joshua?
Well, I was trying to remember what you just said before. Okay, so you mentioned the guys that paid a lot of money for their draft picks, correct? Right? It was Andrew Luck, Cam Newton. Or what were you saying that before?
In the last 10 years, out of every quarterback that was picked in the top 10 picks, that is a total of 18 quarterbacks in the last 10 years. Only 4 of them have made out to be franchise quarterbacks, and that is only Kyler, Wentz, Luck, and Newton. That is it.
Yeah.
And the jury's still out on Kyler.
And the jury's still out on Kyler because RG3 had the same typical type of season where he blew up his rookie year and was shit the rest. If you guys will like this. You guys will like this real quick. Out of the maybes, you have Daniel Jones, Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Goff, Tannehill, and Sam Bradford. Those are the maybes. That maybe you can say they were franchised, maybe not. And that's a poo-poo list, right? Now, out of the no, they were not franchise quarterback, but they were picking the top 10. You have Trubisky, Winston, Mariota, Bortles, Blaine Gabbert, Jake Locker, RG3. Those are all first-round top 10 picks. So what I'm getting at, pick Tua because he's the best talent you have at quarterback. And you had to be honest with me because we're not going to do a second-round, third-round draft pick. I say fucking overdraft quarterback position until you hit one, and preferably Jalen Hurts.
Heard.
What if Tua is off the board? Then what do you do?
There you go.
Okay. Well, I have to give you I guess a question back is who's on the board? Because if it's Isaiah Simmons, I say go Isaiah Simmons. Okay.
Isaiah Simmons off the board.
If
I see
Tua's
same as-
who would you say picked Tua? Somebody traded up or one of the top teams right there that picked Tua?
I would say
Let's-
someone traded. I would say the Chargers
I
traded
was
up.
gonna say, let's say the Chargers
Gotcha.
traded up.
If the
Chargers traded up with
I'm-
Detroit and took Tua.
You know what's funny? In my opinion, like I would trade down to 7 or 8 and get more draft picks and do it that way. But if you want to go Herbert, go Herbert. I don't think he's the third, fourth, or fifth best quarterback in the draft.
I was just about to ask you that.
But I'm all
out of-
about-
like you said, Herbert, Love, Tua, Joe Burrow. Rank them real quick.
Oh, easy. I'm going talent, no injury. Is that what we're talking?
Yes. Talent, yes.
Talent,
fresh
no
right now.
injury.
They're all
I'm going
100%.
Tua, Burrow, Hurts, and then Love. And honestly,
Love
there's a
that.
huge gap. For me, there's a huge gap between once you go after Burrow, there's a huge gap after to Love, and then there's a huge gap from Love to Herbert and Love. I'm sorry, Hurts.
Hurts.
From Hurts to Herbert.
Okay.
All right?
TJ, what do you
I'm
think
gonna
about that?
give one real quick. Just because this is fun.
I'm not a Jalen. I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan.
Why?
I think he's not in. I don't think he has the anticipatory ability with passing the football. I think he's a see it, throw it guy. I think he's going to be one of those
So you like
potential career, the Taysom Hill. That's why he's hot right now, is because of what Dak Prescott and Taysom Hill are doing. And
do you like Herbert over Hurts then?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do we have 30 seconds? I can give a little bit more.
Go ahead. Do you think I'm good?
Just because I'm fascinated by this conversation. This year, total QBR: Joe Burrow 1, Tua 2, Jalen Hurts 4, Justin Herbert 21. PAA, which is points, number of points contributed by quarterback: Joe Burrow 1, Jalen Hurts 2, Tua 7, Herbert 33. EPA, which is total clutch points: Burrow 1, Jalen Hurts 2, Herbert 32. Raw score: Jalen Hurts 4. All I'm saying is Jalen Hurts, by every statistical measure, is a top 5 quarterback for his entire career, and Herbert hasn't made the top 15 in any statistical category.
Okay. Herbert has played with less talent. Number one.
Let's not act like Oregon is a shitty school, though.
But name me the best skill position players that have come out of Oregon in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Touche.
Yeah, that's right.
Number 2, Jalen Hurts has played for 2 great programs with top tier talent,
Okay.
offensively and defensively.
Okay. And he has won in every single time. He has won.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Number 3, the coaching staff at Alabama and Oklahoma is destroying Oregon football.
I agree with you.
So,
But if Herbert was that good,
I don't think Herbert's that good personally, but I think he's better than Jalen Hurts.
last
I
thing,
think
Michael.
the arm strength, the size, and he's also has the ability to be mobile.
I understand. And one last thing, Michael, you have Joe Burrow. Out of all 5 quarterbacks, Joe Burrow is a senior. What was it called? Hurts was a senior. What is it? Tua was a sophomore. I'm sorry, a junior. Herbert was a junior. Love was a junior, I believe, right?
Yes.
The youngest out of all of them, Jalen Hurts, 21 years old. Just a little fun fact. He's 3 years younger than Joe Burrow.
All I know is that whoever drafts Herbert, I'm getting you the jersey because I feel like you love it.
Herbert,
So
fuck
I'm-
Herbert, dude. No disrespect. He's probably a cool guy, but
Yo, I feel like
want
we have a whole episode just on these quarterbacks. I feel like we can go on all day.
Man.
So
Man.
one
I
last
mean,
thing.
I was just going to say real quick. So Tua's been rehabbing. Joe Burrow knows he's going to be a 1 or 2 pick. So guys like Jordan Love and Herbert were at the Senior Bowl and doing the combine at with more intensity. From what I understand, Herbert outplayed Jordan Love
Mhm.
in the Senior Bowl, and his measurables. He's been just the guy since after the national championship. Justin Herbert has been the guy that's been there for everything and has outplayed some of these other top tier quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Now, like I honestly think, I mean, they're equal in talent are they going to be quarterbacks that give you 10 wins a year? We don't know, man, because it's just so hit or miss. So you're shooting darts.
It's more miss than hit.
Blindfolded.
It's more hit.
Yeah,
It's more
you're
miss
shooting
than
darts
hit.
blindfolded.
Oh.
But Herbert's
my-
working. He's trying to work.
My whole thing, like we said, it is more miss than hit, and that's the reason why you take the guy who has shown you production versus the guy who, even though he played with less talent, you never really saw it come in fruition. Who's never won on a big time stage. Who's actually underperformed on a big time stage. So if you're gonna go, if you know it's a crapshoot anyways, take the guy who has shown you that he's a shit, even if he is injured, even because you know he can come back from it.
TJ said it, man. TJ said it. It's just the thing right now. It's hot. Guys like Lamar, you see guys like Patty, Russell, Dak. It's like, why wouldn't you try to grab someone of that caliber or of that ilk that can just move out of the pocket and create and still have a strong arm? It might sway a GM to make a decision like that, to pick a Hurts over someone else. So,
So we're leaving it right there. TJ, back on the board with the Chargers. Who you got, brother?
Go Chargers, go.
Tools off. Who you got?
What I think they're going to do,
Yes.
I think they're going to draft Justin Herbert, sit him for a year behind Tyrod Taylor, and develop him as their quarterback going forward. He's mobile. He's got a strong arm. He's a West Coast kid. I think that's what they're going to do.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that's what they should do, but I'll get to that after you guys say what you need to say about that pick.
Kevin, you got that face?
I'm a huge Herbert fan. I don't know if you guys know.
I think we've already spent a lot of time on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Probably
Yeah.
don't have to rehash that.
No,
but
I think
Yeah, no.
I would have thought maybe they would have gone more offensive linemen, if anything, like an Andrew Thomas or Wirfs, depending on who's on the board, I guess, to maybe help with that line with for Tyrod Taylor. But I see what you mean with Herbert though, because I mean, Kevin mentioned it one time, and I've tend to agree with him on it, which is why not stack up in one of the most coveted positions when it comes to the team, which is the QB. Why not build up stock in that and have somebody where, in case the guy you already have doesn't work out, you have a prospect that can.
Tell you why.
Yeah.
I'll answer your question for you.
Yeah.
They went and got Brian Bulaga from the Green Bay Packers. They've already filled their offensive tackle position, and the guard position they traded for Trey Turner from Carolina, and they have Pouncey at center.
Yep.
And they drafted a couple of guards a few years back in Forrest Lamp and Dan Finney. So I think now that they've solved their tackle issue with Bulaga, I think they're good there.
They don't waste it there.
Touche.
Kevin?
True.
Some would say, TJ, that Chargers are probably the best team in terms of talent in the top 10 draft picks, or top 6. So what do you hear about what would you say about the criticism of taking somebody like a Justin Herbert, who's not going to really contribute to the team, since you said sit him for a year, instead of getting somebody of value who's going to contribute and actually push for a playoff run?
Because they don't have a quarterback of the future. I think Tyrod is a serviceable starter in the NFL, but he's not going to take you to the promised land. He'll get you to the first round of the playoffs, but that's about it. So at least you're giving something to sell to your fans, and giving them some semblance of hope that there is a quarterback of the future. Now, getting back to what I think they should do, I think they should take Derek Brown out of Auburn.
Motherfucker.
And give him that defense. Make that defense one of the. It's already a good defense. They signed Chris Harris. They have Derwin James. They got Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. They signed Linval Joseph from the Vikings.
That should be stacked.
Jerry Tillery last year in the draft. You put Derek Brown in the middle of that defense, pass up the middle, rushing Patty Mahomes. They say in the NFL you should build your team to beat your opponent. How do you beat the Chiefs? With defense. Slow their offense down. You have enough offense to get by and score points. I would take Derek Brown.
Okay. Now, so you want the contributor.
Yep.
Now, if Okudah is still on the board,
I'm not the hugest Herbert fan either.
Now,
Just
if,
skip
now
on
if Okuda was on the board, though, would you grab Okuda over Herbert? Because now think about it. Detroit never grabbed
Ooh.
Okuda.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to say.
If Detroit never grabbed Okuda, do you think they go Okuda then at
It's quite possible.
6? Right?
It's quite possible. But I would, if I'm the Chargers, I don't grab Okuda because I think we're good enough in the secondary right now. We have Casey Hayward. We just signed Chris Harris. You have Desmond King, who's your slot corner. You've got Nasir Adderley in the secondary at safety. You've got Derwin James at safety. Your secondary isn't the issue. Now, are you adding a strength on top of a strength? Yes. So I could see that argument.
Yeah. All right.
But with Derek Brown, I feel like you're filling a need
Leave my bear alone, okay?
as well
Don't
as
take
well
him from
as-
Matt Rule.
as getting a player that's going to contribute day one.
That's what's up. 7th pick, Panthers, Joshua.
That's me. Well, speaking of Derek Brown, that's who I think the Carolina Panthers should go with. And I think that's who they will. Will go with, should go. Both of them are aligned for all the things that TJ just mentioned. The dude is a bear. I mean, the guy is just a beast. He would be, out of all the defensive tackles that they have right now, he would be by far, obviously, the youngest one. I think the youngest one right now is 27 in Hamilton. He'd by far be the biggest one at 6'5", 318 pounds. The tallest right now is between Hamilton and Short at 6'3". None of them had any sacks last year. Derek Brown had a humble 4. He had 2 forced fumbles, 2 forced fumble recoveries, 33 solo tackles. I mean, the dude, just like TJ mentioned, is going to make a mark. Same as what I felt like with Chase Young for the Redskins. I think it's somebody that's going to make a mark on that defense, especially a defense that's going to be trying to recover from losing somebody like Luke Kuechly.
Yep.
Help him fill a little bit of that void. And he's somebody that's just it's gonna pair well with Burns too. I think Burns had 7.5 sacks last year, 1 forced fumble. So, to kind of keep that train going and keep the momentum what it was, I think there's no reason why you wouldn't go with Derek Brown and try to get that ball back to Bridgewater and give him an opportunity. So,
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain with that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nope.
Anybody else got
I
something?
agree with everything you said. The only thing I would say is Jeff Okuda's still on the board.
Yep.
They don't have
That's the
they
thing.
don't have any corners.
I have a question.
I would say if Okuda's on the board, it's very hard to. I would think you would go with CB. I would think you'd go with Okuda.
Honestly though, Josh, I don't. You got to build up front. I don't disagree with the pick at all. It's just a question to spark a conversation.
Question.
No, you're right though. It's hard. At that point, you're scrambling because you're wondering.
Real quick to
Sorry.
everyone. Everyone just hit it real quick. Out of all the players so far, do we all think that Okuda is going to be the one that slides? TJ, you first. Or who, if not, who?
I don't think so. I don't think I don't think Detroit's going to pass up on Okuda.
Okay, so you think Simmons then?
No, because I don't think New York. I don't know.
I think
that's my point.
honestly,
Out of the
I
players,
think who's going to slide.
Simmons,
Who
I
I'm
think-
afraid is going to slide.
Tua?
Who I'm afraid is going to slide is Derek Brown because he didn't have a great combine.
He was slow from what I heard and not as strong as people
He's a
thought.
big.
But the rumors are out there, according to Matt Miller of Stick to Football podcast and Bleacher Report, that Derek Brown isn't going to get past the Cardinals at 8.
Okay.
That's the rumor.
Heard.
He said he has
No.
a source within the Cardinals that tells him Derek Brown isn't getting past them at 8.
Nor should he. I don't want to play against him though. Being a Niners fan, I don't need that. I don't need that big bear chasing my guys around.
So answer it, Mike. You said Okuda. Do you think Okuda slides?
No, I don't think that. Like, worst case, honestly, I'm if Giants don't go Simmons and they go with who I think they're gonna pick offensive tackle to protect, their run game, passing game, go from there. I'm thinking Simmons just for the fact that
Okuda.
he just fits that. It's that modern day, safety linebacker, but not one that you would pick right away because they would pick another need. I would pick Simmons, to be honest, right now. That slides.
Okay.
I think Simmons slides.
I think Simmons slides.
I don't think Simmons gets. I think the Giants take Simmons.
And that's what I'm saying. If they don't, but
Then he
So
slides.
what I'd like to see if he would get there with the Chargers, him and Derwin James.
woo,
Oh my God, that would
be nasty.
sick defense.
Mm-mm.
That would just be disgusting. They'd be, gives me chills.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I was just curious.
All right.
Move on.
All right, Savi, you got the Cardinals at number 8. Who you got,
All
bro?
right, so I don't know. I'm a proponent of, if you got something going that's really, really good, you want to keep reinforcing that. They just traded for D-Hop. They got an aging vet in Larry Fitzgerald. They got Christian Kirk. Now, if Okuda is available, you can't let him slip. You got to
Well, he's
grab
available. He's available, Savi.
him.
He's still, according to our draft, he's still available.
According to the draft. So can I
That's the whole
quickly give you both of my
Yeah.
Yep. Go for it.
So Okuda's available. That's an instant pick. It's not gonna take 2 minutes. It's gonna take one. It'll be one of those things.
Right.
But what I want them to do is stock up and build for the most success with Kyler Murray, and I think that's drafting someone like Jerry Jeudy to stack with D-Hop, and someone like the vet in the game to teach the ropes,
Kirk,
and then you have Christian Kirk. You want weapons. At the end of the day, we know Kyler Murray can run. He proved that last year. So what do you want? You want him to run 3 receiver sets, 4 receiver sets, which they do with that offense. Last year, I don't know what it is. They're like top 5, top 7, and they like quad receiver sets. So imagine lining that up. You got weapons for days and injury. Someone gets hit the wrong way. Fitzgerald's production slows down. He's not exactly what you need him to be. Well, guess what? You have Jerry Jeudy. You still have D-Hop. Oh, and by the way, we got Christian Kirk, who's our number 2, number 3 guy as well. Kind of do what Atlanta Falcons did these last few years. Everyone was like, "Whoa, Calvin Ridley. Why? It's not a need. It's more of a luxury." But look at them now. I think they're gonna.
They've been average.
They've been average, but I don't think it's
At
because
best.
they're not putting points up. They're putting points up. They just need other things. You're right.
My question to you, Savi. Obviously, you're taking Jeff Okuda. That's a no-brainer.
Correct.
Let's go. That's locked in the mock.
Yeah.
My argument would be they need a tackle.
Yes.
Who blocks for Kyler Murray?
I was just gonna say.
Most
this
sacks in the game
draft-
last year, right?
Yep. In this draft, they did just sign Humphreys back up. They re-signed him to an extension. But you've got 3 of the top 4 tackles still left on the board, and they need linemen.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to the people who say you should have went offensive lineman?
Fuck y'all. Just kidding.
I still think you can do. So remember our last podcast last week or 2 weeks?
Because you don't have a second-round pick either. You traded that away for Diop.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. But didn't we all agree that Kyler was going to take that Lamar Jackson leap? So it doesn't matter who you have.
But Lamar Jackson also has an
Has
elite
line.
offensive line.
He has a line.
He does.
So
So-
why not help? Why not help with that leap by getting somebody like an Andrew Thomas?
I want
Or Jedrick Wills.
or
You need the
Jedrick
right tackle.
Wills,
You have
yep.
DJ Humphreys.
Yep.
correct.
But Okuda's still on the board.
I want offensive.
He already locked up Okuda.
He already locked.
I'm
Yeah.
rebuttaling his Judy pick.
Well, no,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like let's make a conversation. Why are you choosing Okuda versus an offensive tackle for all the reasons that TJ is aligning?
Well, they also, from what I understand, they struggled, guarding teams too. Like they're all over the place. They need help. They got holes to fill.
So do you
I
think they
think-
should trade out then? Trade out, get a couple picks.
Well,
Is that-
TJ, thanks for reminding us, but they don't have a second, so it's a possibility. But you got to maybe land one of those 4 offensive tackles. So they're gonna have the litter. I think they're gonna be in a very flex. They're gonna be able to do whatever they want. They're gonna see what drops to them.
Mhm.
Is it a
Yep.
Derek Brown? Is it the Okuda pick?
So do you think
like
they
I
should go
said, my
BPA?
fantasy pick stacking.
Do you think
sorry.
they should? Are you predicting BPA? Are you predicting O line?
I'm
Are you predicting?
BPA. I'm predicting BPA. I don't
Okay.
want to predict O-line because I get it.
Okay.
You want to reinforce those trenches, but in this modern day, you want guys that can run and catch, this guy running around. This offensive line is going to break down, right? Your left tackle is going to still mess up. You need guys that are going to be able to make plays for you. And Kyler Murray already proved he can help relieve that. So now we need more weapons for that offensive unit.
Hey,
But
back
this
it.
is the fantasy pick. It's not the, it's not
You
the.
backed it up, bro. That's all you can say. So I'm at number 9. All right, I got the Jaguars. I'm on the board. All right. I'm here kind of same thing like with the Giants. Okay. Obviously trading away Foles, you got the Tiger King, Gardner Minshew. You're giving him the reins right now. Right this second, you're giving him the reins. He's your starting quarterback, right? You have Leonard Fournette, who, obviously he still got his 1,000 yards last year, but he's still. I feel like every time he runs, he's running for his life. Like there's only so much shit he can do, and you can feed him 50 times a game. But right now, I say you draft a tackle, whether Willis Jr., whether it's worse, and I say you pick a tackle here. You're gonna go say what I want them to do, what I think they should do. They had DJ Chark, 73 catches, 100,000 yards last year. Chris Conley, 47 catches, 775. You could go the Henry Ruggs or CeeDee Lamb. You could go that route. Just the fact of you don't have to stack the box or anything like that for Leonard Fournette. But go that route, or honestly, bro, I'd go safe and get the tackle, to be honest. What you guys got to say about
So wait,
that?
which tackle?
Which
I
tackle?
want to put it.
Well, that's the thing here with the Giants. Depending what happens at number 4 with the Giants, if someone drops to them, they're gonna get the
Well,
BPA.
you picked Wirfs.
But right now, I got Tristan Wirfs there, so I'm going with. I'm not gonna pass up Jedrick Willis. I'm not gonna pass him up.
Fuck you.
That's who I would have thought. Honestly, going back to the Cardinals, who I thought the Cardinals would have picked up is somebody like Wills, or I think Thomas is still on the board too, right?
Thomas and Becton are still on the board.
Becton on the board.
Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I would think that they would have needed no line for the fact that Kyler Murray was sacked, I think, 48 times. Yeah, the NFL highest in 2019. Yeah. So protection, especially from the Niners and teams that have a front seven that can kind of attack the way they do. So for the Jaguars, I mean, I think they most likely should go lineman again, somebody to help just protect the QB and give him a chance, because Minshew has shown he has some brilliance to him. I think a little bit, at least enough to get you by. It's the power of the mustache always. So why not give him an opportunity and just beef up that line a little bit?
TJ?
Oh, I think I think their roster is bare. They don't really have much. They've got their defense is eroded.
People are leaving. Yeah, I know.
They don't. Telvin Smith retired. Yannick Ngakoue is a free franchise tag, but he wants out.
Calais is out.
They got Allen last year, Josh Allen from Kentucky. They drafted him last year. He's solid. The secondary is depleted, so they don't really offensively. They got, like you said, they got Fournette, DJ Chark, Minshew, but I probably would of the tackles. I probably would have went Mekhi Becton. But I can't argue with Wills either. I think he's the best tackle in the draft. He's just the right tackle, so I can't argue with that pick either.
He's a good running back.
I think they're going BPA, and they're a sneaky team to watch out. I think to try. That's my sneaking suspicion.
To trade out.
Yep, trade up and get a quarterback. Go up and get Tua.
That's what I was gonna say. I think they're in the quarterback market. They make a jump or they make a risk for a Jordan Love, or if Herbert slips,
I think they're in the market. I really do. I think that they're like a sleeping giant. They're the team that could go up and get Tua. Number one, he played in Alabama. He's from the South, so they get some name recognition, some marketability there. Number one. Number two, they have the draft capital to do it. They have 2 number ones this year. I think this year, and they also have another number 1 next year that they got from the Rams. And the Rams aren't going to be good this year, so that pick's going to be a good pick. So, they're a team to watch out for to make some moves in the draft.
Yep.
That no one's talking about.
You think you're going to trade up for 2 or something?
Well, I just think even if they don't trade up, I think they are in the market for a QB to upgrade to have a transcending talent. You got to take that risk, in my opinion, and they're in that boat.
And remember, they were the team no one was talking about drafting a quarterback at number 3 5 or 6 years ago when they took Bortles. No one was talking about him taking a quarterback.
Kevin.
Sure.
They picked the worst one, but
I was just about to say, I would laugh my fucking ass off if Herbert slips and they pick Herbert. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
It would be so Jacksonville.
It would,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It would be fucking. It would be Bortles all over again. Like, I'm sorry, it'd be the funniest shit ever. Anyways,
Yeah.
but
All
I
right,
got
I guess
the
at the
hand
10th pick.
I'm
TJ
gonna
Watt?
keep this one short. Cleveland's got skill players galore. You know, they spent a lot of draft capital the last few years on a D line. I think it's just time. Look, can we solidify the O line? Get the best tackle available. BPA in this case, it would be Becton, in my opinion. According to our draft, I like Becton more than Andrew Thomas. I think he has a higher ceiling. So yeah, I think just let's play it safe. You don't need to go crazy. Just play it safe. Protect your quarterback, your franchise quarterback that you want him to be. Give him time to throw to Landry and Odell, and hopefully the coaching is on point this year. For them, I don't give a shit really.
I got nothing to say. I agree.
Yeah, like they're
100%
I
agree.
agree.
They got and they signed Jack Conklin to man the right side in free agency. Becton to man the left side.
Yep, they got a
Not
chance.
out
Good.
for me.
Yeah,
Quick question.
Yeah.
What if there is a premium on these offensive tackles and they start flying off the board? What if they end up without one? Because all four of them get picked up before them.
well,
I don't
based on
think
our,
that
I
happens.
don't think it happens.
So who would have done? Let's say, who do you think would have taken him off the board?
The Giants.
The Cardinals, maybe.
Giants, Cardinals, okay.
The Jaguars. If that,
Jaguars.
so maybe
The
3.
Jaguars.
Yeah.
Werfs. So that's
And Miami could take one too.
Miami could do something too.
Miami.
Depending.
Let's
That's a
not-
good
all right,
point, Savi. That's a good point, Savi.
So, but if the O linemen slip, then who's going to be available? Because if those guys are taken off the board before Rip, is that Isaiah?
It's gonna be
Is
Brown, bro.
that-
It's gonna be Brown.
Or Brown? If that's the case, then yeah, that's easy. You snatch up Brown.
What, Myles Garrett and Brown?
You snatch them. You have to at that point. It's BPA. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you?
Brown, Okuda. The thing is, I don't like if the player that does slip is Okuda for Cleveland. I think that's a terrible. I don't think that's a for sure bet. Like as if it was for. I forgot the team that Savi had, but.
The Lions?
Yes,
Yeah,
I truly
Detroit.
believe Okuda is going to be the one that does slide if he doesn't get picked by the Lions. But I just
I
don't see it
agree
happening.
with you.
Okay.
But I also don't think. I think Okuda could have a slide, but I don't think he gets past the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, they lost Ramsey and all that shit. Yeah, you're right. They could.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets past. I don't think he gets past the Jaguars.
So to top it off, O line. I don't think it doesn't matter which one of the top 4 are out there. They're going to go with it.
Okay.
Yep.